Hey y'all, hey, hope all is well with you. Okay, tonight, I know I'm doing this a recording or whatever, but I am actually getting ready to finish up something. It will actually be connected to another video. I'll probably do them in shorts. I'll tag this one and the other one that I talked about this. I don't remember. You know, I haven't slept since I did this video, the other video that I was working on. But anyway, so we'll go from here. I am a fashion designer. I have been sewing for many years. Does not mean I don't learn something new, because I do. And it's good to always learn something new. But the one thing I like to do is repurpose and utilize as much of my remnant fabrics that I have. So a lot of times, because of the size of the material, I have to usually make it for a little kid. Yeah, a little kid, probably about 8 years old, around there. I do have some things it's like for really small kids. But I'm gonna figure out a way to, I'm always gonna try to figure out a way I can sit up there and make something out of remnants. So this actually came off of a dress, and I've already prepped it. I know I got dark blue thread in my sheen. I'm not changing it because this is play. This is for play. But on my serger, I have this color because I need to serge the hem. So these were sleeves on a garment, and I am taking it and creating little dresses or skirts or whatever, play skirts out of it. It's enough for two, and I will be doing two. But this is really, really simple to kind of do. Since it's already see-through, I wanted to be able to, you know, if they wanted to go out in public and hang out and go somewhere else, I wanted to make sure that they could. So I actually already cut my lining for it. It's actually a satin. I was going to say why I got interfacing in here, because I'll just be forgetting stuff. So I have, here's the reason why I did this. Why is it? Y'all forgive me. I just be doing stuff and I don't remember why I did it, because there's always a purpose in it. I gotta figure out why I did it. I don't know why I got them two pieces cut and interfacing cut. The reason. What was the reason? Oh, now I remember. Sorry, y'all. I was trying to figure out what I did. Okay, this is the waistband. It's already cut. It's about 3.5 inches wide, because the elastic I'm going to put in, it may be just 3, is going to be 1 inch. 1 inch, in order to figure out what you need for your, like if you're doing elastic that is encased, and I'm actually going to do most of it on the serger. I'll finish it off on the serger. I'll sew it on my sewing machine, but I'll finish it off on the serger. You need to sit up there. If you have an inch wide elastic, you need to double that, plus add your seam allowance. If you're doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance, that's an extra inch. If you're doing 5/8 because you're maybe not comfortable with it, that's going to be 1.25 inches added to the width of this, in order so when you sew it, it actually ends up being 1 inch in it. I have cut it where it's going to actually have a seam in the back. Easier that way. I did cut the skirts or the linings at a A-line, I think, which is a trapezoid, A-line kind of configuration. I did kind of round up the edges in order so that when I sew down, it doesn't have that pointed pendulum on the sides. Now, reason why I was sitting there questioning, I actually am going to use, because I have enough left, I'm going to actually make some bows. I actually have some hair clips. So I'm going to go ahead and make some bows with these. Normally I would do the piece wider. It ended up being longer because I really was trying to use as much of this fabric up as possible, which I have. There's pretty much like real scraps for real. So that ended up in the trash can. So I'm going to get ready to, I like to kind of iron stuff out. So I'm going to go over to the ironing board. I am going to swing the camera around. I'm going to go to the ironing board and kind of iron. And then I will actually take it and do it. Use my serger to, or sewing machine more so, in the beginning. So I'm going to go ahead and iron all my pieces. And we will get to it. Make sure that as you watch my videos, if you have questions about what I'm doing or how I'm doing, or even what kind of materials I'm using, make sure you drop the questions below, and I will do my best to come back to answer them. If I do not answer them, please don't think I'm ignoring you. It's just that sometimes I miss things. I'll do the best I can. Okay. Let's go to the ironing board. So you don't have to iron everything if you don't want to, but I prefer, just in case something is kinked up. I have a basic iron. Actually, I was thinking about updating it, but I'm in no rush. Now, I'm not keeping the iron on it too long because the temperature, I actually had it set up on high, but it takes less time. That's why I got it on high. Bad habit, but it's the truth. It is the truth. Gotta figure out what piece is what. Okay. Alright, I'm interfacing the bows. I know I don't have to interface the bows, but the reason why I am interfacing them is because I want to have some stability. I'm only using Pylon PF, no, it's P44F or something like that. It's the lowest one they have. I do usually buy my interfacing in, I usually do a whole bolt. I purchase a whole bolt because it's easier for me, and I tend to do stuff in the middle of the night. And I do not like to stop. Oh, no, Leslie, what you do? Cut this off. I don't like to have to stop working on a project because I ended up forgetting to have interfacing. That includes zippers, pretty much anything that I use to work. I found out years ago that it is no fun when you're in the middle of a project to have to stop because you don't have everything you need. So I like to avoid that problem. Right now I'm actually ironing the thing that actually goes across the bow. So this smaller piece is going to be enough for both. Move that out of the way. Like I said, I'm just trying to knock some of the wrinkles because it was pretty wrinkled in the first place. I probably should have ironed it before I worked on it, but because I know I made it bigger, it should be fine. I'm not looking for perfection because this part's not going to show, but I just want to make sure I knock some of the wrinkles out because it's easy to work with. All right. To the iron. To the sewing machine. Okay. Here I am actually just, I'm going to put I'll do the bows separate and apart in a different video. It just prepared. It'll be easier that way. So I have this cut all in one. Both the young ladies' actual waistline is the same. So I am just going to go ahead and sew straight down the back of it. I am not worried about having a matching thread for this particular for this situation. I am working on a Juki machine, industrial. You do not have to be on an industrial machine to get this done. I'm not gonna lie to you, I've just gotten slightly spoiled working on it because it takes me so little time to work on it, and when it's something that takes you hardly no time to work on it, you just kind of get stuck. So I don't want to switch back to my other sewing machine unless I'm doing some kind of detailed work or buttonhole. So I pretty much, if I can use my Juki, I'm gonna use it. I do have a size 11 needle in here. I think I can use even a size 9. I just didn't buy none at the time, which is fine. Oh no. The only thing I tend to forget is that I need to give myself room. Hold on. Alright, y'all. Had to thread my machine. Because what I forgot is I need to pull it so that it doesn't unthread. So I just be forgetting. I just, you know. I am only doing a 1/2 inch seam allowance on these. And I'm at a 2.5. I don't have to do it that small. I just never. It's a 3. You do want to back stitch top and bottom. Oh, forgot. See, if I don't pay attention, I'm gonna end up, oops, pulling the wrong string. I'm not sure this don't close. I am using basic thread. I'm not using nothing special. I probably will upgrade or change my threading. My thread, because it'll allow me to use, if I use a different quality thread, I will be able to kind of migrate to doing a few more accessories. And I'll tell you, even when I do the accessories, it is not going to necessarily be something that will stay in the staple of my clothing. It's just a way for me to kind of make things to kind of clean out my inventory. Yeah, I don't know if y'all have ever seen my, I call it, it's like a bib, but it's an African, I use African fabrics and kind of make something embellished, almost like a woman's tie. I call it a woman's tie, basically. I think that's what I call it. And I embellished it, and it's perfect to wear with a button-up shirt because it actually has a loop at the end so it doesn't flap up. And you do that, and that gives your top or whatever kind of a new vibe. Maybe you have just a plain white top, plain blue top, plain whatever top, and you want to spruce it up. Maybe you're not a person who's big on colors or whatever, and maybe you're still just kind of get used and stuff, that is one way you can kind of incorporate colors without it being too much. So, all right, we're gonna search this real quick. You can't see everything. I'll show you what I'm doing, but I have a I'll pop the camera. Well, you know what? I can do it this way, maybe. Maybe it'll let me do it. If it'll let me do it, you can see my... No, it keeps on taking pictures. That's not what I want. So here is my serger. It's a Singer. I've had it a few years. It has 4 threads across the back. 4 threads across the back. Really small area for sewing, but you don't need nothing big. So actually, I'm just going to use this to finish off the edges so that it doesn't fray. Now, the reason why I am doing both the sewing and the serger is because my serger's been acting up. I need a new blade for it, so it acts up, but it'll sew to give a nice finish, but it doesn't sew as well as to do where I feel comfortable just using my serger, because sometimes it jumps stitches. I've changed the thread, I've done different things. Just to save myself the headache, I just use them both. It's okay. It's okay. It's nothing wrong with it. It just gives me that added security. So hold on a second. Okay, I have finished off the edges. If you can see it. Still looks neat. It still looks nice. I just like the added security. It's okay with the the navy blue, because it's not really going to be seen because of the tulle skirt. It's going over it. I'm actually getting ready to go to the ironing board and actually iron this, because I've actually went on and while I was sitting here searched the edges. This is satin. Satin, certain satins fray more than others. So if you're using it for just a project or whatever, I would say it's okay. But when it comes to when you're doing maybe a gown, it needs to be lined and you don't need to serge. And the reason why is when you end up ironing it as you work with it, what happens is that if you serge the edge, the impression from that ironing will show through the garment, and that's a no-no. It's a no-no. You don't want to do that. That's a no-no. So you don't want to do that. So just know that you have to think about that with each project you work on. To the ironing board. I guess I could drop it. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. So I don't have to move too far. How about that? This I gotta move this out the way so I don't burn myself. Where's the thing here? Okay. So this is the easy part. I'm gonna go ahead and iron the seam one direction. I like to. Now, I don't have to do it this way. I can actually just lay it flat, but I still don't want to increase the other side. I am using a little bit of steam as I go. Some people may say I'm doing the most, but what I have found over the years, by doing the most, it lasts the longest. And that's what you want your stuff to last. Now, I'm actually turning up about a 1/2 inch. And that's pretty much it for the hem. I'm not doing the hem really big because it's just meant to, so I don't have to do this, but I want it to look finished and quality made, even though it's play. I know people like, really? Yeah, I'm that girl. I'm that girl. As long as they are this size, they'll be able to use it unless they tear it up. And that's not going to bother me none. So I'm going to do it this way because that's how I am. So it's a nice little hem on it. Move that out the way. We're going to do the second one. Now, I will admit I am going to do the other thing I got to do real quick on it. I will actually sew the hem on my regular sewing machine, and it's because it's already set up with this color. I could use the big sewing machine and do it, and it's fine, but the reason why I didn't do it when it came to sewing this is because it's a double needle in it. It was set up to work on a pair of shorts. I don't know where they are right now. If I find them, I'll show them to you. I'll probably post a picture or put it in the stories. Like, just random stuff, okay? Because my goal is to work to clean out my inventory of fabric. And we're going to have some new fashions for the show this coming weekend. So, I'm going to work on that. Alright. The other thing I have to do on here is I need to get the center seams. So the easiest way to kind of get your center seams on here is you can clip it, but instead of clipping it, since you're at the ironing board, just iron it in place. And it'll take you less time. And you don't have to mark up your garment. Because some, with the satin, you don't want it to mess up. So that's the other reason why I don't want to do it. Okay? Real quick. Alright, so I got that done. The other thing I need to do is I like to take my waistband. I've heard it called like set the stitches. Probably the reason why my stuff tends to last longer, and this is the part that a lot of people won't do and haven't done. I usually iron the seams flat. And then after I iron them flat, I open them up. And this is pretty much how I do all my stuff. And I can tell you, it's a lot of stuff that lasts longer than most things I buy in the store, okay? That's about all I can tell you. That's pretty much what I can tell you. Okay. So I just ironed it flat and ironed the seam open. Some people will finger press and push it on. I'm extra. I'm extra. So, okay, I already know that this video probably gonna cut off. So I will come back and combine. All right, here we go. So I've prepared my waistband. Oh, there's one thing I needed to do. You can use pins, or like I've done, use the iron board, and I'm gonna actually do 4 creases that be for the front, for the sides, and of course you already know where the back is. Back is the single seam, so I'm gonna do that real quick. Like I said, it's easier to do it with the iron, because it's not going to really matter for this part. It makes it a little bit easier with the iron. Sorry about that. Okay, so because this machine is already set up with a double needle, I'm just doing the hem on here because it's already got the color, and that's the only reason why I'm using it. Otherwise, I would do the rest of the sewing on my Juki. So I ain't gonna lie, It's hard remembering to switch between the two machines. The downfall with this machine, it is loud. Acting up. Alright, so this is what it looks like finished. You can see it. Oh, that light is so bright. I don't know if you can tell the double needle. It's a really close double needle. I think it's a 2.0. Well, I can't see. Oh, I knew it's there. It's called. Sorry, I can't show you. But literally, that's what I'm gonna do to the other one. So I'll be right back. Evidence of sneaking. Anyway, so all right, here we go. So now, what I'm gonna do is actually sew a seam down the back of the skirt. So it's not going to fluff up at that point, and it's okay. It's all right there. It's all right. So make sure I find the seam. You can clip or you can pin it together, whichever one works for you. Getting used to these pink clips hasn't been bad, but it's just, it takes me a minute to kind of get used to it. I don't like the big ones because I don't do big projects. I thought I was getting all small ones and found out that they've slid some big ones in it. So I probably will order some more, and I'm going to make sure it says all small because I don't want any of the big ones. It's perfect for big projects like quilts or something like that, but I really don't do quilts. Big blankets, maybe for the grandkids, but that's going to be like fleece or something. And that's one thing Leslie's going to do is get through her fleece because she has a boatload of it. Oh, one thing I'll probably do is I do this cardigan out of fleece. It's basic. It's nothing extra special. But I will probably do my fleece coat. I did a fleece coat specifically for thick girls. I was trying to figure out the best pricing for it. And after, really evaluating, I will have to charge a minimum of $200 for it because of how much yardage and the time it takes to draft it. I'll have to post a picture of mine every time I wear it. Every time. And I mean that. People are like, oh, I love it. I want to make me another one. Mine is olive color. I so need to make a different color. So need to. Of course, after I add a few more tweaks to the new design. I'm gonna probably make some changes to it. Haven't done it yet, but I will. All right, so I clipped in the most prominent spots, and I'm gonna literally just sew straight down because it's gonna be the easiest. I will probably do like 2 rows of stitching only because, well, actually I don't need 2 since it's going to be lined. if I was not lining it, I would do this where I would do a French seam. That French seam will help secure it and keep it around longer. But since there's no stress put on that portion of the dress, then I don't need to do it. I am back stitching over the where it's the tool is added. I don't have to, but my head says little kids pull in that area. They'll pull on that area. So instead of wondering what happened, might as well fix it beforehand. Where did I do my scissors? I need some small all metal ones so I can attach them to my machine. So I just did a straight stitch down, double back stitching over those areas that I need to. And like I said, you can see that it's already kind of small. So I'm gonna literally take, if I got some close, I'm gonna just take pins, and the pins is so I can determine the front seam and the side seams, so that I can make sure I match it where I want to match it. Now I know that the skirt is, or the lining is a little bit bigger, so I'm gonna have to do some fudging, or I'm gonna actually gather one and two. So front and back won't matter. It won't matter. So I'm gonna literally just pin at these locations where I put the pins in. Oh, this one may not be as bad. It may be pretty cool. I don't have one for this part, which is the back. I didn't pin the back, but that's okay. Clip it. Clip it. Clip it good. Front and back of the skirt is the same, so that's not gonna matter either. Oh, this works perfectly. Hey, Mr. GJ. Okay, so I've actually encased it. Now I am going to take a waistband. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the right side and match to the inside. Make sure whichever front, which is back, you put it in the same spot. Yes. I know some people like, it doesn't matter. I'm picky. Y'all haven't figured it out yet. I am picky. All right. Oh, this works almost like it was meant to be. I like it when a plan comes together. All right. This is like really easy. It's going together really quickly. Hey. Now, I will do double stitching, which means is I'm sewing first to secure the waistband. Then I will come back and sew when I want to close it up to encase my elastic. So lay it down, and I'm gonna just be checking throughout to make sure that the tool is actually in the seam line. I'm only doing a 1/2 inch. A 1/2 inch, that's it. So I'm kind of pulling and moving. If it turns out that your the waistband is too big, it almost fits, but just slightly too big, the easiest way to handle that is actually turn the waistband towards your feed dog and as you go, it will start to kind of push it in. But because I didn't lay it that way beforehand, I'm actually kind of stretching the back portion, and I'm easing it in to the band, and it's okay. Like I said, it's still gonna look nice. Oops, it's still gonna look nice, and it shouldn't have any too much bunching, but you're not gonna notice that as much because it's gonna have elastic waistband. Don't sew over pins, at least I don't. Some people do, I do not. I'm just making sure I am catching my tulle skirt as I go. Cool thing about sewing on a Juki, it is less, it's not as noisy as both my other two machines together, so I can actually teach and talk at the same time as I'm sewing, which is always cool. So I'm still kind of fudging it in, making sure my tulle skirt tulle portion is in place, not lost. Alright, so we're gonna stop the camera for a second because I forgot to grab my elastic. Oops. Alright, I have the inch elastic. This is a non-roll elastic. I like the non-roll best when you want stability and comfort and it to return back. If you put in one that says a knit, what happens is it tends to collapse more. I'm not putting any interfacing in this, so because I'm not putting any interfacing, it is best that I have a one of these that is as they say, a non-roll, so it'll stay in a position. So I've managed to go all the way around and caught, you can't really tell because the lining is the same color. I've managed to catch the tulle that's at the top of the skirt, because there's tulle right here, it's separate. And it matches and it's fine. It'll fit. It'll be a snug fit. And you can do this one of two ways. One way you can actually do this is go ahead and actually attach, sew back and forth. Make sure you back stitch constantly. I do about 4 times, and then I'll actually put it in here and sew around it. Or you can actually go ahead, encase, do your other row, and then leave about a 2-inch opening and actually fish it through. I don't like that kind, so I'm getting ready to do the way I like it, because the other way will drive me nuts. It just does. It shouldn't. This elastic is about 22 inches long. You usually do the elastic roughly about 2 to 4 inches less than the actual waistline, and it depends on the elastic. So make sure you try it out on the person first and make sure they're comfortable with it, because there's fabric that's going to be around it which affects it as well. You can't see the stitching, but pretty much that's all I did. Back and forth, put it top. Okay. Now I know this is gonna look weird. It is kind of rough to do, but you can get it done. So what I do is slide it in. You can clip around it, but I'm not doing that. The reason why I'm not gonna clip, because it's actually more work that way. So once I put the needle in, I just guide it across it. If you need to change your needle to a like a piping foot or a zipper foot to make sure you butt up close to it, you can do that. Okay, I'm gonna hold on a second. I'm gonna move you to the other side so you can really see it. Okay, I have started to encase my elastic, and you have to take your time with this part as well. And I'm trying my best to match it up. I should have changed my presser foot, but it'll be okay for this part. And you see how the satin frays, that drives me bonkers. Okay. I'm getting to the point where it's starting to get a slightly tight. So I'm going to pull it so that it gathers a little bit behind it. And I did lift the presser foot in order for that to work. And now I'm matching the waistband again. Okay, it's going to act crazy and not act right because it just wants to be crazy. Okay, usually it doesn't do this. I have to pull it back a little bit because I pulled it, I guess, a little too tight for it. And it's going to be a little awkward for a second. Oh, I know why. I had to bunch it up a little bit because the waistband was a little bit wider. So I'm kind of bunching up the waistband a little bit where it actually was a little too wide. I'm not worried about it being perfect right here because I'll come back through and make sure it's secure well, but I'm going to actually finish it on my serger anyway because I don't like all that fraying. That fraying is about to work my everlasting nerves. Once you kind of get used to this and you're doing it or whatever, like I said, this is all about taking what you learn from it and applying it to different projects that you do. I was going to say, is it sewing it? I'm making sure it's back into place, and I'm actually pulling the elastic only so that I can lay it flat and have room to work. You got to every so often push that fabric underneath into place so it stays flat for you. If you do not, you will notice that it'll be something crazy. Or it'll bunch up where you don't want it to bunch up. I'm just double checking. It's okay to check as you go. But these techniques can be used on any sewing project. You can apply them to when you're making skirts. Apply them to making pants. Pretty much the same ideas, same techniques, same things you will do. The presser foot is slightly up. I'm not sewing yet. Make sure you don't sew your fingers. Okay. This is where we're going, the home run, as they say. The end. I'm not sewing on the elastic at all. I know it may seem like it, but I'm not. I have to pull every so often because it's getting, that satin is getting caught. But I'm not sewing the elastic. Yay, we made it around. Okay, so I made it all the way around, and this is where I kind of pull to adjust, and I'll actually take it to the serger, and I'll go ahead and finish serging the edge and show you the right thing, so show it the right way. See how the crazy machine is? It'll cut the flyaways with no problem, but it acts crazy with the other part. See, there you go. Crazy. Everything everywhere. Okay, so it's all serged around the edge. It's actually done. If I need to move it in a little bit more, I will. That's not a big issue. But there you go. It's a cute little tutu skirt. If they want to wear it out, they can. Like I said, there's lining underneath. It covers them completely. I'm going to actually finish the other one. I'm glad I didn't waste this. That's why you don't throw stuff away. Even if you turn around and gave it to somebody else, even if my grandkids couldn't wear it, couldn't use it, didn't want it, I can still give it or sell it to somebody else just because it's cute. It's usable. Hey! But anyway, y'all, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed what I taught you. Hope you learned something. Hope you're able to use these same little techniques I have done here for your next sewing project. Or the fact that you just enjoy watching me. Hey, if you do, give me this or subscribe. Y'all have a good one. Talk to you later.